From Senegal to Sugar Hill, trace the bloodline. 100 years of brilliance through the color line. They thought the shackles broke but kept the mental chain. Langston penned the future while they legislated pain. Harlem's ballrooms birthed the cosmos in mahogany, while lynching trees still decorated southern botany. Josephine, Waker's pearls, and Garvey's Navy ships. Du Bois debating destiny with scholarship on his lips. The Renaissance was a renaissance, it was resistance, fam. Every trumpet blast from Armstrong was a battering ram. They gave us minstrel shows, we gave them Sora Neal. Turned depression into art, made the fabricated real. Cotton Club excluded us from tables every set. To form the Deanest Nightly, never free from the deck. But Bessie Smith could shatter glass, shatter cash, shatter lies. Every note she sang contained a revolution in the sky. Build temples from the rubble, make cathedrals from the struggle. Turned the margins to the center, now they study what we scribble. We build temples from the rubble, every generation double the inheritance of genius that they try to keep us from. Fast forward through the decades, watch the pattern reassemble. Malcolm's speeches, Martin's marches, every voice begins to tremble to the earth until the structure shows its fractures. FBI was tracking every coon with every pastor, every actor. 40 acres never came but 40 minutes on a stage. Can reconvene your consciousness and channelize the rage. From bebop to hip-hop, the fool lines mathematical. Each generation weaponized the beautiful, the radical. They gave us Reagan, now there's crack and mass incarceration. We gave them Public Enemy and blueprints for liberation. The Harlem Renaissance never ended, just evolved its form. Every freestyle cipher is a brainstorm, is a storm. Where the children of the talented, the tenth that was prophesied, inherit the fire that the water couldn't wash aside. They tried to write us out the narrative. We offered all on text, 100 years of proof, and that we're destined. Where was next? Temples from the rubble, make cathedrals from the struggle. Turn the margins to the center, now they study what we scribble. We built temples from the rubble, every generation double the inheritance of genius that they tried to keep us from.
All right, this is and you are under the groove. We're touching bases with the people. Welcome everyone. Grand Rising. Hopefully everything is everything with everyone out there. It goes without saying, but I am the host, Bub. Come on in here, RGC. Let's do what we do. We get down with the get down. I just came inside. Well, I started to get out, man, and for some reason I hit the wrong button and we had to backtrack and make sure everything was straight. That's fine. Here we are. I was outside and it started to rain. I'm like, damn, all right. That's not a good look for a couple of reasons. Forgot to cover the motorcycle. So right now to get a little moisture, I'll go out after this and, tarp them up, whatnot. But besides that, everything is good. No complaints. Everything is, like I say, everything is everything. It's above board here. For those of you who are tapping in and don't know, this is Under the Groove podcast. And again, we are touching bases with the people. We have what we call our RGC, our Royal Group Congregation. It's a part of this get down that, we don't get down without them. The get down is nothing without them. So peace and blessings to the RGC. Hopefully everybody is all right. And, let's do what we do. Let me say this, man, I'm sore as hell. So yesterday I'm on the motorcycles, me and brother-in-law, we're going to put gas in the wife's motorcycle. And for whatever reason, the gears, the shifting mechanism, it breaks down. This is a 600-pound bike, right? So, brother-in-law, he ain't feeling too good, but he was willing to take that ride. We're going to the gas station. I want to get out on mine, put it on the road. Anyway, my wife's bike, for whatever reason, is not functioning. It broke down. So, I didn't realize he wasn't behind me until I got to the gas station. Look, he wasn't there. And I recall seeing in my mirror that he had hit a right. So I go over there and there he was. Like, what's going on? He said, man, something wrong with it, right? So we can't get it, in gear. For nothing in the world, can't get it in gear. About a half a mile from the house, 600-pound bike. So I'm pushing this bike all the way to the house, man. All the way to the house, Well, actually, I took my bike home, jumped in my truck, came back, with the wife, and I start pushing the bike home, man. Man, I know for a fact I am out of shape, man. I like to think that I am, but that was a task. I'm telling you, I was sweating like a pig, man. Before I went to bed last night, man, just sore from the neck down, just sore. Woke up this morning, was like, oh shit, really felt it. Other than that, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Was working through it, getting my muscles back right and everything, trying to work that soreness out. But boy, that was something else. I don't want to get to go through that again for nothing in the world. And luckily it wasn't my bike. My bike like 900 pounds, so I couldn't imagine lugging this bike, 900-pound bike, all the way back to the house, half a mile away from the house. Luckily it was her bike, and it was all good. But other than that, here I am. Here we are. It's a pleasure to see everybody. I see you, James. Salute right back to you, bro. Good to see you, man. Let's come on in here and let's get it in, man. I have a lot of things I want to talk about. Yesterday, the reason why I didn't do the live yesterday, I was wore out. That whole ordeal wore me out, and I just the energy, man. I'm telling you what it took to get that bike home. It just sapped me. It drained me of my energy. And I didn't feel like I was in the right condition to just come and just hang out, and chop it up like we normally do. So that's why we didn't go up yesterday. But Monday is in the itinerary. It's part of the get down now. And I'll make up for that this coming Monday. We will be up and running. All right. So it's a 5-day a week thing, We're there 5 days a week now. I can recall starting out once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, 4 times. Now, we'll get to that 5 times a week get down. It's warranted. I think it's something we should do. We need to do. And that's why I'm more than willing to do it. So excuse me again for yesterday. I'll make sure in the future I minimize, how much energy I exert through the day to make sure that I'm able to be here Monday through Friday. All right. So again, man, salute, James. I'll see you, man. All right. Quite a few in here. Let's get this thing up and running. I'm wondering if Al gonna show up tonight. He sent me a clip tonight, and I found it very, very interesting. It speaks to what we see in our communities. Actually, not just in our immediate communities, but the world over in Black communities, what we tend to, or how we tend to sell out for the dollar. Nothing matters but the dollar. And as a result of that, I think, we're doing ourselves a disservice and injustice, because we tend to put money before any and everything. Even when we say, well, I'm doing it for my family, are you really? You know what I mean? A lot say that. It would probably surprise a lot of us if we were able to go to, the dwellings or, the places where a lot of these dudes stay, and come to find out they're not looking out for the family, as they say, as a means or the reason for why they sell out. We don't think that there's anything wrong with getting a bag. We just say, if that's the case, where's your integrity? So I brought that up because, like I say, Al sent me a clip today, and I just found it. I found the clip, profound. It's something that should be discussed and needs to be discussed, because no matter where we look today in society, especially dealing with Black people, be they African Americans, Black or Afghans, whatever, Caribbean, whatever, it's the same. You see the same thing. Blacks will chase the bag, will sell out for the bag over any and everything else, And again, people say, oh, that ain't true. I go to bag look out for my family. Okay. All right. If you say so. Why that is, I think it's because I think it's because of indoctrination. Our people, were put on the auction block, and I think as a result of that, as time went on, we did not get to the point, in our lives, our existence, where we had enough intelligence, wherewithal to get off the auction block. it started with them selling us, and we're in this situation, or we're in this space now where we sell ourselves now. You know what I'm saying? That's some cold stuff. We sell ourselves now, and a lot of us for a little bit of nothing. I don't think it's cool to sell yourself, period. But we see that a lot of us sell ourselves devoid of integrity. No matter what, we'll sell ourselves to be used, exploited, um, clown, disrespected, to be killed. A lot of us will sell our souls or sell our bodies, man, for money. You know what I mean? And again, I don't think any of it actually goes to or is utilized or put towards the betterment of, the ones we say we love. It doesn't go towards creating a legacy. You look in society today, especially the world of entertainment and sports, even politics, business, brothers and sisters readily sell themselves cheap, and I say that because I think that's the truth. Even if, we're talking about sports or entertainment, business or politics, you have enough brothers with enough money who could create their own athletic commissions in sports and whatever, entertainment, the same thing. We have enough people with money who could, get the money together, man, and create their own movie home or houses, production companies, film companies, things of that nature, and then dictate and determine how we are to be, depicted or portrayed in movies, entertainment, industry in terms of music, rap music, same thing. In fact, in rap music, it's worse. It's way worse, for the love of the dollar, brothers and sisters. It boils down to one or two things, in my opinion. Either you're selling out because in some instances some people never had nothing, they don't know how to go, so they see it and they go, hey, give it here, I'll take it. No matter what I got to do for it, I'll take it. Then you have those who are approached by those who run everything and say, this is the only way we want you to function. This is how we need you to do your music or to act in these roles or to, run a business or to be the representatives in some political house or denomination, Republican or Democrat. You do it the way we say do it, and a lot of people willingly do that. Again, you look in the rap industry, damn near every brother or sister in that industry is willingly selling out. Some know why they're doing it. Some are actually with the program, to create this image or depict us in their music as just these, these low level, no moral, having integrity, having people, same thing for, like, say, for the movie industry. You have brothers and sisters go and get roles that just, hey man, this 2025, 2026. What the hell I'm still playing a slave for, or a whore, or a pimp, just a thug, a game banger. Where are those images that actually matter? Where are those movies where they discuss and put to the public, society, even to black people, where we are doing the damn thing, on a level that for the most part, those in power do not want us to know or relive. Politicians, they get up in office and they'll sell the people out quick. They have no integrity. They're actually, they are the worst of the worst. They're worse than some rappers. APAC would tell them, hey, forget that bill over there that's going to bring infrastructure or jobs and businesses to your community. We need you to vote on this package. And this package would support, or does support, in the billions and billions of dollars, Israel's agenda. You got things of that nature, those type of issues, that exist. Businessmen They'll sell out to major corporations, major businesses, when the business that they built could stay not just in the community, but in that family as well as the community, and open doors and opportunities for those who look just like them. They'll sell it quick. They'll get an offer. Hey, we're going to give you $3 billion for that. The business by itself could be, 5 times that. So they'll get it, who they sell it to, and they'll flip it, and they'll create more disparaging images and profiles of us, to take from us, or the ability to do better by ourselves. It has been sold to others who will use it to dig a deeper hole for us consciously, psychologically. That's to get down. Again, man, it's a cold thing, but I appreciate Al for sending me the piece. The piece meant a lot. I have it queued. I want to show it. I will show it. I was gonna do something on it tomorrow for all things politics, but I figured no, I could do that on touching bases with the people, because I think it's very significant. It's very significant, man. We need to see the whole picture, and not only that, but the picture, once it's presented to us, that becomes, it should become the dialogue, the point at where we start communicating about these things we know exist, but we don't talk about them. Again, we don't talk about them. We talk about others who we see doing us, unjustly, or doing us foul, or trying to usurp something we started, when the fact of the matter is we're not taking care of nothing we created. We're quick to sell it off. We're quick to pass it off. We're quick to allow others to gatekeep it, and we allow others to gatekeep it, who allow others who look just like us to gatekeep. I just thought it was a profound piece, and I will share it with the RGC and anyone else who happen to be tapping in with us. I see a lot of people coming in. I appreciate that, or we appreciate that. This is what the RGC does. Some feedback on that would be the shit, because this is what we do. We talk about those things that affects us the most. And I think we have to get to the point where we start recognizing that we affect us the most, and sometimes in the worst ways. It's high time we stop pointing the finger at people. It's high time we stop allowing ourselves to be distracted by the BS that's out there all day, every day. And it's out there for just that reason, to keep us distracted. Man, in the worst way. War is being waged against us. And because, we've forgotten, we're not like those who came before us and understood what was happening to such a point, or in such a way to where they fought back. We haven't done anything, again. I was looking at a piece last week, Charleston White, and he's the realest shit. He said, well, what have we done in the last 50 years that we can point to and be proud of, that we can point to when we're talking to those coming up behind us and say, look, man, this is what it's really about. This is how we win. Nothing, nothing, not a thing, man. So again, at some point we have to be accountable. We have to stop saying whitey this, the Mexicans that, and all that. Yeah, man, I get it, but we feed into the BS, man. We're buying, that ticket to go into this show to be distracted. We're allowing ourselves to be distracted, man. And this is why we see a lot of what we see. This is why a lot of our people do the things they're doing, because a lot of them are all in. Really, hey, man, a lot of our people are all in. They're all in. They again, one, they could either be in fear, not just their careers, but their lives. A lot of people know what they know, but know better than to say anything. They could be fear, like I say, in of their lives or their career. A lot of them could just be like, hey man, you know what? I don't give a damn. It ain't gonna mean nothing. There ain't nothing gonna change. So I might well go on and do what I'm gonna do, you know. Um, it's just, that's what it is, man. And I think I think that we have an opportunity. The door is wide open for us to bring not just these words, these discussions to the table, but from them solutions that we can start working towards making these changes, developing those who need developing so that when they time come, they'll know how to go about handling shit. We I think some of us agree, or most of us would agree that in the next 5-10 years, man, we think this some shit, you know. We don't get together, man. This ain't nothing. This is nothing. I was going downtown the other day, me and the wife, and I probably said this before, but for a lot of you, you probably know that. I don't care what state you in, or what city you in. We seen homeless, right? Man, 70%, probably more, of the homeless were black people. Black people, man. So that was a shock. Well, it wasn't a shock. It was sad, man. For anybody that really love themselves and love who they are and what they're a part of, it hurts. It hurts to see that type of stuff, man. And again, it give for those who are conscious, who observe everything that's going on, we get to the point where we understand why a lot of people say what they say. And again, it's not them. We gotta, get to the point where we aren't pointing our finger at other people for our condition. That's on us, So that it is, man. And I didn't mean to go on and on, but that's cool. Let me get into this though, man. Okay, James, man, what it do, bro? He says, I already mentioned, shouts out to the real brothers and sisters serious about making change to unite ourselves so that we can all have a black future, separate from the real from the fake. One, that's a part of the get down. Again, though, this, when we talk about stuff, we have to be true to ourselves. We have to be honest in that we have to actually know when we say we got to separate, the BS from the real, what that entails, what that will entail, what that's going to bring. We already know we're at war with each other more than anybody else. Now, magnify that by 3 or 4, by 5 or 10. How serious are we when we are talking about, all right, man, calling a duck, a strike, and a spade. When we see brothers and sisters acting a certain way, carrying on a certain way, and we'll just keep walking, shaking our head rather than saying, and not approaching people per se, coasting people and being disrespectful, whatever, but being able to have the wherewithal, the mindset to speak a certain thing intelligently, respectfully to brother, just to give them something to think about. Because sometimes we know we could say something that's righteous and above board. People won't receive it that way because, again, our people are in this frame of mind where we can't even talk to each other, man. So I get that part. But, and it's just something that I've learned to practice with brothers and sisters. I'll speak. And don't get me wrong, everybody don't speak back. Sisters roll their eyes. Brothers, mean mug you and just, walk away looking at you, But in my mind, man, in my soul, I'm like, man, just all right, keep pushing, because there are those times when I speak and I'm being above board because this is my brother or my sister. It's reciprocated, and you'd be surprised with how many brothers and sisters that want to stop and just have a conversation for a few minutes, walk away smiling, because I think the smile is an indication that we see shit the same way. We have shit in common. A lot of us think that we don't, but you'd never know because they won't take the time of day to find out. you know. But yeah, to separate the fake from the real, that in and of itself, again, is a task. Just what it is, you know. But you got to be willing. We have to be willing to confront those issues we know that causes us harm and damage. We have to break down these walls, you know. We have to peel back the veneer, man, and you know all these facades, these fronts, brothers and sisters have that we have to get to, you know what I mean, the soul of brothers and sisters, so we can start having conversations and dialogue that would bring us closer together. You know, that's what it is, you know. Anyway, man, appreciate that comment, James. B60N, what's happening with it, man? Say greetings and salutations to you, Bub, and the Royal Group congregation. Right back to you. Hopefully everything is everything with you and yours, man. I want to send a shout out right now to my loved one, man, Looney, man. OG head from 60s, man. He lost his brother. His brother passed away from illness, man. I just want to send my condolences out to him and his family, man, and say that, hey, man, yeah, you know, just keep those memories that kept the smile on you guys' face about your bro. You know what I'm saying? Those things that, you know, that kept you smiling and laughing about him. Those are the memories you keep with you. You know what I mean? And he'll always be there, you know, in your soul and in your mind, man. So again, my condolences, bro. All love, homie. All love. James, man, you say to the busters out there who keep spewing disrespect amongst our people and causing confusion and chaos and further dividing our walls away from one another. You MFs is the problem. Fuck them MFs, bub. Yeah, and I think, I don't know if this is what you're referring to, because you know, again, man, social media is a cold beast, man. And not only that, but we've bought into it. You know, we want to be little minions now. You know, we want to be little demons, little monsters. We want to disrespect each other worse than they do. You know, we see it. There was a clip also sent to me last night about individual from A-Tray Gangster, you know, with the disrespect, you know, and I just, you know, I sat there, man. You know, to be quite frank, man, I'm just, you know, I just saw a drug addict, man. You know, I saw somebody addicted to drugs, on drugs, man. Somebody strung out, you know, and for whatever reason, his mind veered that way, you know, on that path, man. You know, that I can't, you know, call it, you know, but what I did recognize, or what I do recognize when I watched that, was that dude's a dope head, man. You know, and you see that same behavior with these guys that own drugs. You see it, man. Whatever they're using, man, it's something in it that not necessarily triggers, well, it could trigger something about a past event or occurrence, you know, but it does it in such a way where there are no boundaries, man. There are no limits. It's just boom, crash out, you know. That being said, man, you know, you have to think about this brother and his path, you know, what he's on, the path he's on, you know, no good comes from that. You know, again, these are the type of situations that pull in others who might have the mindset to be, man, well, I just want to be cool. I want no problems. Who could be straddling the fence, fighting between both ends from the middle. You know what I mean? I want to go this way, but look at it pulling me this here. We make excuses to be where we at, you know, in those spaces. But that's what that leads to, man. So, you know, here this brother did something, you know, he don't just put himself in jeopardy. You know what I mean? Because it don't work like that. It don't work like that, man. You know, and again, man, I would pass it off as, you know, this dude's a dope fiend, man. You know, but let's say he's not. If seeing this the thing, and I'm not glorifying this man in no form of fashion, but I have to say this so that guys know, man, when dudes is faking the funk, again, when you faking, man, come on, man, stop that faking. Because if dudes are real about whatever it is they say they're real about, the last place they'll be is on social media with that BS, man. You know, they would understand, hey man, this the job I'm on, this the mission I'm on, and I already know what the consequences are, da 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 da. In due time, they either be dead or in prison, because that's how they pushing. You feel me? You know. So, but when you see this, you see it's cowardice, man. You know, we dealing with a coward that's on drugs, man, or we dealing with a dude that's on drugs that becomes a coward, man. Either or, you know. If he got family, and from what I understand, he's related to one of these podcasters, then come on, man. The first thing to do is set that straight, you know. And if not, then hey, so be it. You know, again, I make it a point to kind of stay out of that space, man, because that space ain't healthy. That space ain't healthy, you know what I mean? Man, I never knew nobody get down like that, man. Like we see cats getting down, it's back and forth. That just shit. That we know what that is. So that being said, man, our thing, man, like I said, bro, is we have to find a way to start reaching brothers that can be reached, and those that we cannot reach, man, we have to have some type of protocol in place, man, to start setting brothers straight, man, as well as sisters. You know what I mean? And I'm not advocating for violence against brothers or sisters. Let's get that straight right now. But I think that first things first, man, is communication. And if communication does not work, if it is not functioning in such a way to where we can bring about understanding so that respect can be established, then, hey, man, there's another way that it has to be dealt with. And again, I'm not advocating that way is violence, all right? But I think that, man, when you push hard enough on people, man, shit get done. We know this, especially when it's right. I last night I started to make some phone calls, and I said, nah, man, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. If these individuals that I know that know me are real, you did, then hey, man, that should get dealt with, and it will be dealt with accordingly, But other than that, yeah, I fell back, man. I didn't like it. I didn't like it one bit. Not because, I come from Hoover, but just the whole get down, man. It looked sad and it looked bad on me. So anyway. But yeah, man, I hear you, bro. Queen Nzinga, what it do? She say, good evening to the Royal Group congregation. I trust all is well with everyone and their families. Be one people equals black first. I am not. There she go. I'm not falling back. I spoke on what I just spoke on because I think it's necessary to just say what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's all. Like I said, I haven't made any phone calls, anyone. I haven't said anything about anything. I'm just saying what I see is wrong. That's it. That's it. All right, James. Say peace to Under the Groove, man. Right back to you, man. He say, what's up to all the Hoovers, gangsters, criminals, and Crips? All that love and respect to the fullest. All right, Raymond Skull, what it do? Peace and blessings, bro, to you and yours, homie. And what's going on with the thizzle, homie? What's going on with the thizzle? Anyway, Raymond said, peace and blessings, bub. I trust all is well with your family. Me and mine are great. Shout out to the kings and queens in the Royal Group congregation. And right back to you, bro. Peace and blessings to you and yours. Hopefully everything is everything. All right. Real spit. James says like this. Them Woods and them Hispanics, they have neighborhoods where it's just them. Brothers and sisters need to have strictly our own neighborhoods like we used to in the 70s and into the 80s. Yeah. Yeah. But again, I think there's a lot at play, man. A lot has been put into play that has affected our ability or has got us at a point where living together seems to be something we'd rather not do. We'd rather live amongst or live around those that can't stand us no more than a lot of us can't stand ourselves. I don't know if it's just wanting to be accepted by the others because you you feel as though, or you think as though you're not accepted by your own. But the best thing for us is for us to be together, in our communities. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think. Um, we had this conversation the other day about segregation. Segregation, in my opinion, is a good thing. It's a damn good thing. And integration is something that is harmful to us as a people. It will not serve us. It will not serve us at all. At all. To integrate, man, means then, our abilities, everything we are capable of doing, it doesn't get minimized. It gets kind of watered down, but not even that. But integration, it saps all our ideas, our innovations, our abilities, man, and it takes them and, you know, use them or divvy it out or give them to other people, you know what I'm saying? Everybody but us, if that makes sense, if we were segregated, everything that we create, everything that we own, everything that we bring into existence would belong to us. And the only way anybody could get some of it is if we okayed it, if we okayed it, if we allowed it, if we understood the ownership of it and dealt with it like that. That would be the only way anyone could integrate or have some semblance of integrating into our culture, into our communities, our neighborhoods, our business, or whatever it is we choose to do in a segregationist or in terms of segregating everything about us. That's just my take on it, man. I think, man, we are in a bad way because this integration, it does not serve us. It can't serve us. It won't serve us. It's going to serve everybody else. It's not going to serve us. But yeah, I get that point, and I get that part. We had our own, and dealing with our own. We had our own communities, our own businesses, everything, man. Our own hospitals, our own schools. We'd be a lot better off. We'd be able to see the forest for the trees then, and that's what integration has done. Also, it's blinded us. It's blinded us from our objections or our objectives in terms of what it is we need to be doing as a people, man and woman, including child. Integration, man, we can't see the forest for the trees, because of integration. If we were segregated and if we self-segregated, we would be able to see the forest for the trees. We would, or we'd be able to see the blizzard for the snow. You know what I'm saying? We would be able to do everything that is necessary for us to do to make sure we would be all right. Without segregation, man, it's all wrong. We're in a world of hurt. In a world of hurt, man. Yeah, anyway, though, Raymond Scott, man, peace and blessings to you and yours as well, bro. Hopefully you and the fam are good. The Rays are good, man. And brothers, man, are getting it done. If it's little by little, that's getting it done. Well, we say, man, before you got to crawl before you can walk, you got to walk before you can run. So it's a process. It is a process. Yep. James said, I'm all for the black communities. I'm all for black communities. That's just me, though. I agree. We still deep, but we falling apart over the decades, barely hanging onto the structure with the pressures of modern day politics, economics, and social systems. And again, that's just part of the get down. That's how they planned it. So much love, respect, and empowerment to the Royal Group congregation. Right back at you, James. Raymond Scott said, man, the power of the dollar has corrupted the soul of our people. Can this be an adverse psychological side effect of poverty? It could be that, but I think it's also the indoctrination of how people have those in power. I think it was their indoctrination of us and them seeing us as things, items to get money off of. You know what I mean? I think that the way we are viewed by others, especially the white tea people, we have latched on to that way of thinking. So that's the indoctrination. Indoctrination was, okay, everything about you, is for sale. We're gonna make whatever we make off you, flesh and bone. It don't matter. And I think that stuck with us. That first ordeal, that being on an auction block, man, for whatever reason, we have not found our way off the auction block, but instead we have deemed it okay to be on the auction block as a result of our experiences of being on it. A lot of us don't want to step off the auction block because the auction block represent some type of bread, some type of bag, so brothers and sisters set out to sell themselves. Is it a psychological side effect of poverty? Yeah. Is it a psychological side effect of bondage, slavery? Yeah, I think so. I think so. And see, again, we're dealing with a system, it's capitalist based. Everything is about the dollar, So no matter what you think about yourselves, in terms of your wealth, your health being your wealth, what I'm saying, your soul being at peace, or your family being, all the riches you need and all that, for a lot of us, that means nothing. Because I can't pay my rent, I can't pay my mortgage, I can't pay my my car note, I can't buy groceries, so we're for a lot of us, we're thrust into this system that dictates, hey man, you're gonna sell your soul, you're gonna starve, you'll have nothing. What will most brothers elect to do? Sell out. They'll sell out. So so yeah, it could be the side effect of poverty, just as much as I think it's a side effect of just being indoctrinated as a result of being in bondage. It hasn't left us. And it's sad, man, because I think it did. When we're talking about what our ancestors, what our elders did 70 years ago, 80 years ago, 100 years ago, in terms of men pushing forward in spite of in spite of those who tried to keep us from moving on up, elevating, excelling. They got it done anyway. They were able to break the psychological chains of slavery, the indoctrination, or the of the black man and woman. And hey man, they got shit done. They got shit done, so and they come from, come on, man. Let's be honest. Let's be realistic, man. Our people, after the proclamation, the emancipation of the bill Lincoln passed. I'm foggy right now, y'all. Don't trip. But after that, we were in abject poverty, man. There was nothing. We had nothing. We thought sharecropping would bring us shit. It didn't. We were in a worse state as a result of sharecropping. Then the rebuilding of the country, things of that nature, man. A lot of us saw opportunity and took advantage of it. But again, from nothing, they had nothing. And yet, in a matter of years, from 1965, let's say up to every year after that, man, black men and women started to build for themselves. And that's what they did with nothing. So poverty can't necessarily, I think it can be a factor, but I don't think it's the core issue. I think, again, it has a lot to do with, as well, slavery, the indoctrination, that we aren't nothing but chattel, man. We ought to be sold, Slavery still exists, man. And some people are, some people impose it on themselves in a lot of ways. They sell their soul for a jelly roll, as we say, or used to say back in the day. But anyway, thanks for that, Raymond Skull. Emancipation Proclamation. I don't know. Man, shit. All right. Judah Maccabees, what it do, man? He say blessings, Big Bub. Right back to you, brother. Blessings right back to you and yours. Hopefully everything is everything, and you and your family are well, man. And figuring out this journey, man, this experience we all go through. Again, there's nothing any of us go through that any of us isn't going through. There's nothing we don't have in common. We got everything in common. Everything in common. You know, even those who have money still have to experience being black. Imagine that. You know, we were saying this last week. Imagine what they go through when they realize their money don't mean shit. You know, it don't mean shit, you know. So we got us, man. We got everything in common. Poke Mitchell Podcast TV, man. What's happening, bro? He said, what it do, bub? I started chatting and it went dead. Anyway, I'm back. I've been working and grinding things out. I work with Kevin Hart, Kenan Thompson, and Anthony Anderson yesterday. There you go, boy. I wonder, maybe, what kind of conversations do you have with these brothers, you know? Well, all three actually. Have you been able to just, have a black man conversation with them, man? If so, man, I wonder what that's like, man. What did you walk away from, or what did you impart from the conversation? If it's anything, man, I would love to hear some of what the discussion was and how they see things. And these are some of the so-called elites, of the people. I just wonder, man, what that conversation was like, man. In any respect, man, yeah, your exposure, man, you've been exposed, man, to a lot of, to people who can get you there. You know what I mean? They can get you there, man. Take care, man. I always keep focus on the focus. All right. Love you, homie. Peace and respect. Raymond Scholes said, man, this racist system's agenda has been to erase our brilliant black minds in place of parading negative images of us to us, and we begin to mimic. I'm telling you, it's a psychological thing. It's a psychological thing, I think, I really do. I just, and it's, it's so well done, for lack of a better term, man. And not to seem as though I'm praising the apparatus, the system, the racist system to have us, that initially put us in this position. But the fact that it was done and then we just latched on to it, hey, man, that's some cold thinking, man. For that to occur like that and for us to be caught up like this, man. As intelligent as we are, we haven't been able to get away from this shit, man. And that's some crazy stuff, man. It's crazy, man. Oh, Poke, you weren't finished. Let me finish. Okay, there. I'm sorry about that. But anyway, you saying what to do, bub? I started chatting and it went dead. Anyway, I'm back. I've been working and grinding things out. I worked with Kevin Hart, Kenan Thompson, and Anthony Anderson yesterday. Continue. They seem to be genuine and funny today. I'm working at a music video shoot. But what it do? And shout out to the RGC and UTG, the best live in LA. I'm all in. All ears in the Black Fist, man. All right, appreciate that, bro. Yeah. Raymond Skull gonna say one important issue that negatively impacts our people is the intentional eradication of our Black history. I think that create the inert mindset of our people. It's time to take accountability for us. All right. Yeah. Anything that involves us, man, I'm telling you, I think is done, man, to extract from us or to eradicate any taking claim, of what our accomplishments are or have been. Again, man, I've been finding out all kind of Black historical contributions, man, to society, some I didn't even know about. You know what I mean? That's just, I think that's an example of what you're talking about. You know, that the fact that um, they intentionally eradicate or erase our history. You know, they'll bury it away for the next 100 years. You know what I mean? We probably will. You know, it'll be generations for our people to find out or discover that, damn, our people did that. You know, and by that time, ain't no telling how far down the ladder we've fallen. You know, or we've come. You know, and you had to look up and see that climb, be like, hey, and I think that's part of it. You know, we've fallen, man. We've fallen, and it's as though we can't get up, you know. We've fallen, man, to the ground. We're at rock bottom. Brothers look up, you know, and looking up, there's that ladder and all these rungs on it. Like, damn, man, I ain't gonna be able to make that climb. Fuck it. I'm cool right here on the ground. You know? I think that's part of it, man. But shit, yeah, they do this, man, every day. Every day, man, they do this. You know, every day, man. Yeah, it's long overdue that we take time to be accountable for us. And that's it. And that's it. And that's what a lot of us mean. Whether you African American, Black American, the FBA, you know, what I hear a lot of our people saying is, man, you know what? We have to start focusing on us. We can't be, you know, we can't be concerned with nobody else shit right now because our shit stink, man. It's worse than everybody else's, you know. So I'm with that. I understand that, man. I support that thought, not just that sentiment or thought, but any action geared towards that. You know, that's just me. That's just me, man. Hey, Lisa Moore. Lisa Moore, Fire Trade Eagle, one of the queens, man. She said, hey, big bro, bless you and the family. Peace and love to the kings and queens in the chat. B1 equals black first. Peace and blessings to you and yours. Hopefully you guys are okay. Good to see you back. Just continue to take care of yourself and focus. You know what I mean? That's the plan. That should be the script for any of us. Focus throughout the day, no matter what it is. Again, we can hear some shit we don't like. You know, we can see some shit we don't like. You know, our focus though has to be rigged or geared in such a way to where it cannot be distracted. You know, and again, I said this before and I mean it. If it's something in your soul of souls say, I must act, then there it is. But if you know, just observing the situation, okay, this is what can come of this, I'll pick that fight for another day, whatever, you know, or hey, this ain't strong enough for me to lose my focus. This is not enough for me to be distracted or diverted from the path I'm on because this means a whole lot, not just to me, but my family and my people. So yeah, you know, I think that's something we got to stick to. We have to be mindful of our focus. Our focus got to be, it has to be exact. It has to be like laser sharp, man. You know, otherwise, you know, we'll be another statistic or we just, you know, average. And that's what it's boiling down to be. They're making us average. And we aren't average. There's nothing really average about us. There's nothing average about us. They're average. We aren't average. We're above board, man. You know, above board. But anyway, good to see you in here, Lisa. Hope that you are well, sister. Queen Nzinga say the black recession is on the rise. The federal workforce has seen cuts with over 277,000 jobs lost since January 2025 due to layoffs and buyouts that have disproportionately affected black households. And I do recall that occurrence jumping off back in January 25. Most of the people who lost these federal jobs were sisters, and you know, mostly sisters, but black men too. This was Trump's doing, and it was intentional. Don't think it wasn't, you know, but I do recall that occurring all the way up into the new year. The new year 2026, you know, sisters and brothers were losing their jobs, those federal jobs, you know. You know, it makes me think about another issue. We have young brothers and sisters who go out every day um to find a way to get it done. You know, these brothers and sisters, they go to school, you know, they go to educate themselves so that they in their lives and if they have children, their children lives, they can have a better future. A lot of these brothers and sisters, they struggle daily. They struggle daily just to make ends meet. You know what I mean? Um, Education is one, it costs, you know. Then there are jobs or a lack thereof jobs. Rent is too high. You know, it's astronomical for some of these young brothers and sisters who are actually trying to do the right thing so that they can, you know, get out in society and do the right thing, make some shit happen. But their way is fraught, man, with just setbacks, you know, and barricades, boundaries, shit of that nature, you know. Food is super high, gas is super high, you know. The system is geared, it is regulated, you know, against us, especially, you know, again, brothers, young brothers and sisters, actually doing the right thing are doing the right thing. They're not succumbing to, you know what I'm saying, that voice on their shoulder saying, man, fuck this, let's go get it. You know, they're not succumbing. They say, no, man, I gotta stay the course. But it's hard for a lot of them. It's hard for a lot of them, man. And this is our younger generation. Man, there are so many of them doing the right thing, man. But man, the way is rough for them. I mean, super rough. And that's wrong, man. But it's done purposely. It's intentional. It's intentional. You know, brothers got too much, sisters got too much, man, that they invested in. You know what I mean? To have to continue to go through a lot of the shit they're going through. You know, a lot of them know better, man. I can't quit now. Gotta stick it out. Gonna make ends meet somehow, some way. You know, and this is all the more reason for families to have their shit together so that we can be, you know what I mean, the anchor. You know, we can be the one that give them that support when shit go bad. You know, that's where it's supposed to be. We're all going through some shit, you know, and we're all gonna need each other. Ain't nobody else gonna save us, man. Nobody is so throwing no lifesavers out there, man. Why our brothers every day, brothers and sisters every day are sinking, you know, barely treading water. Yeah, jobs, man, the economy, you know, food, rent, all this shit, man. It all plays a role. It all plays a role, man. And it's done intentionally. So appreciate that, Queen and Zinga. You're going to say we have to seriously get ourselves together and unite. That's right. James said, agree, Bub, absolutely. You going to say, James, I saw the same thing, Bub, shaking my head with a shame, and he is a dope head for real. Unbelievable that grown men act less than half their age. Again, this is all a part of this get down, y'all, to where, you know, our brothers and sisters don't think in terms of, okay, dignity, you know, integrity, you know, and how they carry themselves, you know, how they see themselves. They don't think about that, man. A lot of them just don't. You know, a lot of them just don't. So, you know, and that's why I say it's incumbent on a lot of us to be the ones say, man, start thinking about yourself, man. You know, because you yourself will impact others if you're not above board, and that's the truth. You know, I was one of them dudes, man. I didn't think about nothing. I didn't actually think about my damn self. But what I do know for sure is that my actions impacted a lot of people. A lot of people. Me and my dumb ass ways, ignorant as hell, impacted a lot of people. People suffered, you know, and that ain't cool, man. Poke Mitchell say, Bub, in the midst of all the madness, I try to stay calm. Some people, terminology, some people terminology of keeping it real is different. What one may deem as keeping it real, someone else may not. But I want my people to be one. And that's so true. Some people, when they claim or profess to be keeping it real, that's on a whole nother plane, a whole nother mindset. And it ain't got nothing to do in terms of righteousness, being respectful of not just self, but everybody else, carrying yourself like a man. A lot of them don't see that like that. Keeping it real means a whole lot of different things. That's true. And because we say, hey, man, we keeping it real because, we're keeping it real by carrying ourselves like men, like adults, speaking to those things that need to be spoken about, being responsible, being accountable, taking care of not just self, but family, man. To us, that's keeping it real. A lot of others might sound, that's bullshit, homie, you a sucker. This is keeping it real. I'm got there, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. You know how that shit go. So yeah, you're right. Yeah, to your point, you're right. I have to agree with that one. And then you're going to say I'm working, but shout out and respect to you, James. All right, there you go, bro. Yeah, man. James says, mind-boggling to me how busters just like that idiot will say things on the internet to elicit reactions. It speaks to their maturity or lack thereof, which they have none of, right? Okay. Actions always speak louder volumes. Yep. Real shit. All right, Raymond Scott, he says, salute to you, bub, for maintaining a calm state and focusing on your focus. Seeing that clip, bro. Again, man, I've been past the BS. That's not to say that sometimes when you see it, you be like, damn, man, what's really going on? But it's never to the point where, let me mount up, nah, homie, they long gone. For me, like I say, I'd be like, damn, what's wrong? But at the same time, like, damn, po ting ting, po little ting ting, you could pretty much write out, his ending. You know what I mean? If you're an author in a book or a director in a movie, you can write out how it's going to end. That's sad, man. That's sad that when others can see your downfall coming before you. So I'm where I'm supposed to be, man, mentally and spiritually. You know what I'm saying? So I don't worry about it. I don't worry about it. And then again, man, I don't wish for no BS to occur as a result of that. I don't know, homie. Like I say, man, because the behavior, it impacts people. It impacts a whole lot of people, man. And that means there are a whole lot of people who get caught up in some shit, man, that make no sense. That's for nothing, So our thoughts should be with this brother, man, that he finds some peace. He finds some therapy, you know what I mean? He finds some attention, finds some love for himself. That's where that should go, man. Raymond, you going to say, I've been figuring this YT out. I've been figuring this Whitey out, the editing and this YouTube, excuse me, out and editing and just how it works. My channel is called The Dialogue with Roscoe. I have to put a video up though. Yeah, I already knew that. Hey man, listen. So I was in there today, man. Like I said, I'm just trying to relax, recuperate from all that strenuous work yesterday. I'm picking up game, right? I'm like, there's a whole lot, man, to learn about this YT shit. And the fact of the matter is, a lot of the shit has changed. It's 2026. They've incorporated, not just new policies and shit, but new ways to get into the algorithm, that we weren't afforded previous, to this year, or, these new policies. Hopefully we could talk, bro, and I can just put you up on a lot I learned just today as well, in the last week or so. And I have to say, most of which I had to go and figure out for myself. There does not seem to be as far as YT go, YouTube go, and brothers who are on it, there isn't a mindset where brothers say, okay, oh, I learned this. Let me go and holler at so and so and let me lace them. Let me give them game. And there are very few and far in between who do that. You know what I mean? Most of them want to gatekeep because they see, other channels coming into, existence, coming to be as competition. And when they don't realize that, you don't know, man, it ain't really that. No, you have a world. You have a world of over 7 billion people. All right, 7 billion. Most of which don't speak English, but they have translators on these things, and people looking to hear but what is being said, especially by blacks in America, or even Africans talking about blacks in America, or whatever the case may be. My point is, man, there's enough for everybody to go around, and what's really, really sad about that is it doesn't have to be bullshit. And it doesn't have to be held to one's chest as though he's guarding the last slice of bread, But it is what it is, homie. I'm telling you that. I'm telling you now, though, Roscoe. Yeah, we can talk, man. And I'm some shit I didn't figure it out just today, again in the last week, and I see the improvement. I see the changes. You know what I mean? Slowly but surely. One thing, though, for sure, and one of the homies gave me this, you got to be consistent. And that's what I'm learning to do, be consistent. The other thing is, okay, quality, content. And so I'm learning that, okay, yeah, mistakes I made, shit I didn't know, I can't do that no more. I got to really think out this shit, So I keep writing pads and shit. I do writing, anytime I want to drop something, I'm going to write it down, think about what I'm going to write in the description, all that shit. Hey, man, yeah, you need to call me because there's a lot of shit I learned today that a lot of us are doing that don't help. It's just shit, to keep you busy, it don't matter. So I just picked that shit up today, that game. And I went back and did a lot of, corrections in my shit, man. So when you get the time, when we have time, man, let's chop it up, man. I can run by you, man. And go up in that YT studio, man, and shit, man. Let's get together. And then not only that, but direct you to a couple of channels I mess with where they walk you through shit, so there that is, bro. Stay at it, man. And yeah, we're waiting for that content, man. And another brother involved, man. And then I'm pretty sure he gonna be about the business. Ain't gonna be about no fuck shit. You going to say, Raymond, in the next few days, I'm dropping a piece on a prominent, brilliant mind in our history. I'm studying it now, so my commentary will be impactful. There you go. There you go. All right. Queen Nzinga say you can't wash that black off. No, you can't. Whole lot of them want to, though. They bleach now. Well, shit, they ain't like now. They've been bleaching. A lot of them. I used to be proud of this sister out of Compton, man. Her and her sister, man, and I'm sitting in prison watching them. That, man. You know how we are, man. When they do the damn thing, man. They going up against the enemy, and they mopping them. You know what I mean? Up in there, like, well. As time went on, progressed, man, I started seeing the changes, and I was like, damn, man. I start calling shit. I'm like, man, but that's what the life brings you. And again, with a lot of our people, you're on this, in their mind, you're still on this auction block. You still have to sell yourself to be accepted, to be part of, you know what I mean? I saw that shit, man, and it broke my heart, man. When them sisters went and did what they were doing, and then the youngest one started bleaching, and I was like, ah, man, But I'm not used to seeing it, but I see it quite often, and it always leaves, the same bad taste in my mouth, almost like a prick in my side, you know what I mean, or a little cut, and they say the smallest cuts hurt the worst, But it's there, man. It's there, man. Our people, man, just going through some shit. No matter what they got, what they don't have, we all go through this. Again, we just you can't wash that shit off. You still gonna be black. You still, I don't care who you marry or who you give babies to, or whatever. You still gonna be black, and you are serving some type of purpose. I don't know what that purpose is. I don't know. I don't know if they then found a way to extract melanin out of black skin. Maybe that stuff ain't bleaching. Maybe some of them were allowing their spouses to take them to these biotechnology type places and experiment. I don't know. But I see it. I see it quite often. James Cass says Anthony Anderson, a real one. Yeah, again, man, I don't know. I'm the type of brother, man. Yeah, I just, to have a conversation with you, man, and just see, ain't gotta ask a whole bunch of stupid shit. Just have a general conversation, man, and hopefully afterwards I got an understanding of who this individual is. You know what I'm saying? Not the actor. You know what I mean? I got to be able to look past all that acting shit because I don't know if you acting in front of me, motherfucker. But yeah, that's what it is. What's the brother named Kenan Thompson? Yeah, his boy lived next door to us. The other half of the Kenan, I forget the boy name. Talked to him a few times. But yeah, he next door, man. It seemed like the careers went in different directions between the two of them. Yeah, dude, he lived next door to us, man. Yeah, real shit. Mm-hmm. Pope Mitchell said, it's crazy, but it's reality that most of the understanding and care these days come from people like you and Queen Nzinga. Again, thanks for asking. And this is why we trying to create, or us, this RGC, man. Excuse me, this RGC, this touching base with. This is for us to understand, man, that it got to be love and caring in here. As much for ourselves, as much for others as ourselves. I think that's the beauty in this get down. That's what I think, especially when we're up and running and this thing is clicking and it's hitting on all cylinders, like we say, the jewels and gems are being dropped and there are us in there. We're seeing this and we're picking them up and putting them to use, you know what I mean? So, I just think that's what it is. That's what does us good, man. The fact that we could come here and we could talk to like-minded brothers and sisters, that we can listen to the conversation, read the comments in the RGC and find therapy, find solace in that shit, man. So it's a good look, bro, and it's something we should do. It's some brothers, when Roscoe get his shit up, we should be over there. You know what I mean? Because that'll be another home away from home. You know what I mean? And we go in there and hopefully we meet other people and we chop it up the same way we do with them, we do with us, So I get it, bro. Yeah, it's crazy, man. But the reality is, yeah, it comes from our own kind, though. That's real, Pope. We get that understanding, that care, from people who who look at life the same way we do. All right, you go on to say, Bub, I do security around these cats, and most of the time I'm just being myself, and the people sense that. And from that, a conversation may happen or it may not. Right. Continue. You say, nobody made me feel more special than my grandma. And that's the spirit that I've had all my life, from the streets to the pen, which now has been reinforced in my life and future. Man, that grandma love is something, right? It's mama love is something as well. But grandma love, I would sit down and I would talk to my wife about my grandmother, man. And I'll tell you, man, my mama, she taught me so much, no doubt. My grandmama, though, gave me different lessons, man. And And her love, be just straight up. It was a different love, you know what I mean, from the love of moms. She laced me with so much, man. Real shit. My grandma taught me how to shoot dice. All right, taught me how to gamble. And I'm not saying that that's so endearing, you know what I mean, but it's shit about my grandmother, man. She wanted me to know, you know, that she imparted to me on purpose, you know. And again, it wasn't just street level shit. My grandmother was caring, just the neighbors can get, they could be in a bad way, and I've seen them come get food, come borrow money, uh big ass bottles of sparkless water, because my grandma wouldn't drink nothing but sparkless water. She never drink out the tap. But just how she was, you know what I'm saying, and how she carried on, man, it left a mark on me, so yeah, man, I get what you're saying. Yeah, that was a totally different spirit, totally different love, man, totally different, when you can appreciate. I'll tell my wife about my grandmother, man, all the time, man. Oh shit. Oh man. Stories to tell. James, you say the message is always important, but also the intent behind the message, whether it's genuine or not, and for good reason, cause and purpose. I pay no mind to any of the BS. For me, it's disturbing. Yeah. Again, yeah, the message is important, because again, man, whether you take it as genuine or not, good or not, there's something, there's a lesson. There's always a lesson. I was I was that's crazy that came up. One of my guys, man, he's still in the joint, man. Been down a long time, man. Shout out Finn. You know, we were talking. He asked me, because when I came home, I had lost contact with him. This is one of my Bay brothers from the Bay, and I wasn't able to reach out and hey man, I'm home. Let me know what's up. That's that sort of thing. This was like my brother, man. Him, Reg, and Roy. These my guy. They from the Bay. Boom. But anyway, I got out and wasn't able to reach him, contact him or his wife, and it pissed him off. And I think rightly so. You know what I mean? But I wasn't able to reach him until last year, or get word to him last year. So he called me the other day out the blue. Brothers call, and I know the prison number when they call. I'm gonna answer. I'm always answer. If somebody want to talk to us, say, man, get back. But I always take the call. So I took the call, and first thing somebody said, they do the voice thing. This is OG, and I'm like, OG, the fuck is OG? When you get on, I'm like, man, who is this, man? So you start laughing, and then he got to talking. I'm like, Finn. Like, man, we chopped it up, man. We chopped it up. And he asked me, though, how did I get out? I said, man, I think it was one question that was asked me at the parole board by the number one commissioner in California, Commissioner Roberts. He asked me, it's not winning, losing. And I think that takes that to this question, you know what I'm saying? Something when we talk about messages, whether they're genuine or not, you know what I mean? Whether they're for good reason or cause or purpose or not, you know what I mean? Most messages, there's something to be extracted from them. There's some that you can utilize or use. And so that was the conversation. I told him what my response to him was, and which was, a lot of people might take losing as losing, but for a lot of us, we understand that even in loss, even when we lose competitively or otherwise, there is a message. There is a message to be extracted from that. It's something you can learn from it. And that's how I take that question, James. It's something we can learn from, whether we like the message or not, whether we think it's genuine or not, whether it's for the right reasons or not, there's always something to be learned from shit, or the things that are brought to us, so that's how I take that, bro. You going to say It's a lot of careless and reckless behavior. And unfortunately, the internet is the king of chain reactions, what they call them reactionaries, reaction video. Yeah, right, right. Chain of reactions. When one does it, 1,000 others, if not millions, would do it as well. Bamboozled sheep. Hmm. All right, Poke, you say, what's your favorite What's your favorite quote on UTG? Mine is focus on the focus because it is easy to lose, but promising to those who keep it. Good looking, bud. Focus on the focus, I think is a good one. I like get down with the get down. But again, for that one, you got to know what the focus is in order to be like, okay, I'm gonna get down with this, get down, regardless. Yeah, man, focus on the focus, man, is a good one. I think that's a good one, man. And yeah, it carries a lot of not necessarily weight, but it carries a lot of meaning, So I'm with you on that. Focus on the focus is a good one. Raymond Skull said, well, I was gonna tap in with you to get some game, but I know you'd be busy learning what you need to about your channel, which is time consuming. I'll tap in as soon as possible. You're more than welcome, bro. And that's why I sent the invitation. Because I think that had I've been laced, had brothers say, all right, man, this is how you go about doing this. Uh, um, it could very well have been a different outcome. I could be, so much farther along, but that's never really been a concern of mine. By by the same token, I just wanted to, hey man, just do what I do. I wasn't really tripping like that. But in order to get the message out, then yeah, a lot of shit I'm learning has to be done. And it has to be done appropriately. It has to be done right so we can reach the right people. So that's why, yeah, I'm doing what I'm doing now. Time consuming, yeah. So you know what I mean. I'm saying to you, it doesn't matter, homie. I think the game is to be told. So that brothers, don't have to go through a lot of shit that you unnecessarily that a lot of us went through who went through it first. You know what I mean? And that's how I look at shit, man. So you good nonetheless, bro. Tap in. And if you wait too long, I'm gonna end up texting you. I'll call you too. Make sure you get this shit so you be up and running. James said that bleaching taboo is a big thing out there in Jamaica. Hey man, Jamaica ain't the only spot, man. Yeah. Here in America, and hey, don't get it twisted. It ain't just sisters. Got brothers doing it. I remember one pro athlete, Sammy Sosa. Sammy Sosa, man. When I seen the guy, man, they showed a picture. He didn't look the same. The boy down there pink. Sammy Sosa was probably my complexion, maybe one shade lighter, maybe two. I'm dark skinned, brother, so I'm cool with that. But man, I seen Sammy Sosa, man, had his hair slicked. He looked like, oh man, like I don't know, like a black person that put on white face. You know what I mean? Like white chicks. He looked like that. When the Wayans brothers did that movie White Chicks, he looks like that. He looked like that. I don't know if he stopped bleaching or whatnot, but this shit looked just bad. But a lot of our people do it. A lot of them do it, man. And yeah, we're in a bad way, man. We want to be accepted, man. We want to assimilate. We want to assimilate, not even realizing that they want to assimilate worse than we do to us in our culture. They just not outspoken about it. You know what I mean? Blacks, feel like they ain't got no shame. They got to get it, man. And, got to, it's a sad thing, though. James, I peeped a documentary about that mess. And again, very disturbing realities of how brothers and sisters perceive themselves and their own people. Yeah, this is some everyday stuff, bro. This is every day. Every day. Queen Nzinga said her favorite quote is, "What's under your groove?" Can you explain that, though? Yeah, that one mean, and that ain't no, yeah. Anyway, Let's see what she says about that one. There she goes. She said, it's a vibe, bro. It's a vibe. James said Beyonce too. She's definitely bleached, and several others, famous and all. Yeah, you know, for whatever reason, man, these people, you know, it's shit crazy. Let me drop this clip, y'all. I just want to share this right quick. Let me make sure. Yeah, I got it. Let me share this clip with y'all right quick, man. Hold on. Let me make sure it's in there. Okay, it's in there.
The smarter you get, it seems the dumber you get. The smarter our intellectuals become, the more cowardly they become. This has something to do with this colonial education we're getting, because I know some great black minds. You know, I'm in the university system. I see these minds. I talk. People, great minds. But that paycheck is going to dictate what's going to come out that mind. I'll come out your mouth of that mind.
And that paycheck is based off of that other piece of paper that they got to affirm their paycheck.
I got master's degree.
So therefore I get paid more.
I get paid more.
Therefore I'm controlled by your system.
Let me I know the truth, but let me not speak it right now.
Nah, because I can't. I got to feed my family.
Right. Right. Now, feeding your family is way more important than speaking the truth to a people that's going to treat you like they did Dr. King. If there was a reward to speaking truth, more people would.
Okay. So yeah, that's that, man. And that's how we started out the conversation. People, you know, what money has done to people. And this brother Karis One was talking about those on a higher intellectual level in these universities, man, black folk. But knowing what they know, but aren't willing to speak the truth or truth to power because they're in fear of losing something, and it ain't even their souls, man. It's just, it's money that's being handed to them, like he said, in the form of a paycheck, in fear of losing that. I mean, super intelligent people, and they in fear of losing a paycheck. Super intelligent. Make that make sense, man. I cannot be super intelligent and I'm in fear of somebody not paying me for my work, man, because I'm so intelligent. I'm going, that ain't nothing. Matter of fact, you did me a favor. I'm really finna go get it now. And in the course of that, I'm gonna see if I can destroy you. You know, I don't know, man. You know, we sell out for this stuff. And again, we tend to say we do what we do because of the paycheck. That may be valid, though. That may be valid. Because again, we don't run anything. For all our knowledge, for all those professors' knowledge and super intellect, they run nothing. A number has been done on us. I have to agree, man. A number has been done on us, man, in the worst way. In the worst way. So, I don't know, man. I was looking at something today. Well, I dropped something for tomorrow on all things politics, and this is the craziest thing, man. So I ran across something that had just dropped, just came out in the news about the country Benin in Africa, and they are supposedly gonna sell off a parcel of land to racist white tech people. The guy in question, his name is Peter Thiel, and most of you may know him or know of him. He's the co-founder of PayPal. He's the co-founder of Planeteer. This guy is Trump's guy. You know, him and JD Vance. You know, he campaigned for him, donate to him. This guy is also an ultra racist. Anyway, he's trying to buy some, allegedly he's trying to buy land in Benin to start his own country, sovereign country in Benin, with its own laws, its own police station, you know, its own police, its own law. And I said to myself, if he's going to try to have his own police, that means he's going to have his own military. You know, it's just so many thoughts went through my mind. So come to find out, my mind thinks I heard this before. So I did a little research. They've already done this thing in Honduras. They bought something like 50 acres or so, 50 some acres in Honduras, and created this sovereign place where they do laboratory of biotechnological experiments on people. It's just for the rich, super rich. Honduras can't say nothing about it, whatever, you know, whatnot. For whatever reason, Honduras wants to rescind the agreement because they say, hey man, something not right here. Our sovereignty is at stake by this agreement. Now it's the government that's rescinding the contract or the agreement from the previous two presidents. Come to find out, one of the presidents is the same guy Donald Trump pardoned from being a drug trafficker in Honduras. Jose, what's that dude's name, man? No, not Jose, excuse me. Juan Hernandez. This is the guy Trump pardoned. He was in American federal prison for drugs. And Trump pardoned him, but he's the same guy that also allowed Peter Thiel and his consortium of super rich billionaires, all racists, to come into Honduras and buy up some of their shit so they can create their own sovereign get down in Honduras in South America. Then the president behind him, this guy's name was Porfirio Sosa. Same thing. Now, the funny thing is, the first guy, don't nobody know where he is. You know, he allows these people to come in there and do these experiments. They run in this place. It's called Prosperia Honduras. They run it. But Honduras is now trying to shut them down. So they're trying to sue Honduras for 11 billion, which is about 1/3 of their GDP, man. You know, they're trying to sue them because Honduras said, nah, we want y'all gone. So they, the white people, Prosperia, took them to the World Bank Court, you know, to sue them for this money. And not only that, but make sure they don't leave, you know, make sure they stay there. From what I read, they're still there functioning. They still have a laboratory, a biotech laboratory where they're running experiments and shit. All kind of shit's going on. But, you know, it's about to happen in Benin, or at least allegedly. That's what's being said, allegedly, by the Benin president, Beninese president. I think that dude's name is Patrice Talon. This brother, he's a multi-millionaire in the hundreds of millions. They call him the king of cotton in Benin. Entrepreneur, strictly entrepreneur. You know, he's dealing with these people too. It doesn't make sense these people would do this kind of stuff, man. You're willing to sell out your people. You're willing to do shit. Again, in Africa as well as South America, anybody, it don't matter. People willing to do this shit for what, man? And do this shit with people they know don't like them. Don't like them, you know? I don't know. I don't get half of this shit going on, but I know it's going on. I know it's going on. And the shit don't make no kind of sense, man. There you go. Let me go and get back to this. Yeah, that's Queen Nzinga's favorite. What's under your groove? That means a lot. All right, Al Thomas, he says salutations to you and and Queen Bub, and the entire Royal Group congregation community. I hope that everyone had a productive day and is enjoying the remainder of the evening. B1 equals black first, man. Yeah, it looks as though everyone and everything is everything. The Queen and I, we're well, and hopefully you and yours are well as well. You know, so that's a good look. I haven't seen C1 in here, but anyway, Al, I was talking about the clip you sent me. You probably saw it, you know, but the conversation started. Why are we willing to sell ourselves? Why are we continue to sell ourselves out and others? And a few of us have an opinion. I think it's psychology. It's the psychology of being put on the auction block to begin with, and having gone through that for hundreds of years, we haven't gotten to the point where we know how to step off the auction block and know that our worth should not be for sale. You know, Brother Roscoe said, man, he think it's an issue regarding poverty, you know, and both of which I think, you know, are valid, you know, explanations as to why, you know, we're feeling or going through what we're going through, especially when our people are willing to sell each other out, or when they're willing to allow the dollar to be everything. You know, they put the dollar before everything. So I wait to see what your take on that is. Again, you sent the clip. I appreciate the clip though. I kept it. Some use this clip, and I figure at some point I may use it again, just do a little more research on it, talk about it. But yeah, what's your take on that, man? Okay, I got a question down here, Travis Smith. I'm gonna head that way in a hot second. Don't mind that conversation. Queen Nzinga says, a little black LA history. Thanks for that, Queen. She says, a little black LA history. Bridget Biddy Mason was nurse, midwife, and entrepreneur. She was one of the first black women to own property in downtown Los Angeles, who made her first purchase in 1866. We would have never knew that, right? We would have never knew that. And again, something I did not know. Something I did not know. I already got that Emancipation Proclamation. Thank you anyway. Yeah. But Bridget Biddy Mason. So whatever happened to her, Queen Nzinga, what happened to, as I understand it, she bought up a lot of land downtown LA. Can you be more specific? What area in downtown LA? What street was she known to have a lot of property and, you know, things like that? You know, where was her businesses located down there? Yeah, man. I need to know that. Okay, Travis Smith. He said, what's up, bro? I want to ask you about what you said about not believing in religion. Are you saying you don't believe Christ is God? I'm just saying, bro, I'm first and foremost, I was raised in a Christian household, went to church, man. There every day, man, was in the choir, you know, went to the same church, man, for shit. From the time I was a, you know, toddler, man, maybe 5 years old, 6 years old to shit, maybe 11 or 12. I don't know. I know I stopped going at some point, but for me, it became a matter of, man, just, you know, not trusting the fact that religion could be manipulated. You know what I mean? That's where it started for me, bro. Once I understood that religion could be manipulated, again, it could be used in ways, man, that, in my opinion, religion is going to be something sound and good, you know, holy, spiritual. It shouldn't be touched or, you know, effed over. But once I started realizing, for instance, you know, the imagery of religion did not add up to what the scripture said. For instance, how is there a white Christ in a black church when Christ, you know, in the scripture is not white? You know what I mean? That's just one example. Then not only that, but the fact that, the manipulation of the scripture also became an issue for me. So I deemed it necessary, man, just try to, understand the spiritual side of me, accept that, man, spiritually something's going on. I don't know what it is, but I know that there's a spiritual connection with me. I can't speak for nobody else. And the atmosphere, man, nature, you know what I'm saying? My brothers and sisters, you know what I mean? For me or for anyone else to try to label for me what I should be or what I should believe, and that's something I don't use, a word I don't use. Everybody know me, I don't use the word, but anyway, that's, I don't think that's something that would allow me to be, if you're trying to put something on me or force me to do something, that means, man, it ain't righteous, it ain't right, it ain't real, it's someone trying to make me do something. And for what reason are you pushing this on me? Yeah, I'm just a spiritual brother, man. I'm not in no shape, form, or fashion, man, religious or have faith at all, that, it doesn't work for me. That's all I can say, man. I'm cool with knowing what my soul feels, you know what I'm saying? How it connects spiritually, man, to, my ancestors, man, people who are living as well as people who have gone before, just nature, the atmosphere is just a lot of shit I experienced as as a spiritual, as a spiritual being. And I think that's what we are more than anything, Now, who made the spirit, why the spirit exists, I can't answer that. Is there a higher power? I can't answer that. But if there is, I don't think that whatever that is, that higher power is, would label itself or have, I don't know, man. It wouldn't be what we see. You know what I mean? And I'm not speaking to the condition of man. I think this is man's fault. What we're going through and all this other, this might be more, our doing than anyone else's. That's what I mean by that. But I'm not religious, man, because I don't think that, I think religion in this, especially in this respect, in terms of Christianity, is manipulated. It's man manipulated, and it wasn't necessarily no original faith that came out of Africa, not originally, you know what I mean? So there's another issue right there. So, but to each his own, man. If you're a Christian, then more power to you. You know what I mean? If Jesus is your Lord, more power to you. If you accept that, God did all this, man, for you to follow, his commandments or whatever the case, more power to you. I don't hold that against you. And hopefully, those who heard what I just said about how I see my life, my existence, don't hold that against me. That's just where I am with that, bro. Again, my whole family Christians. I have a brother who's a minister. We don't debate often. My mom, who passed away a few years ago, we used to debate until she get mad, or just why when it is, but that's my mama, and I loved her. I never disrespected her about whatever her faith was or what she believed. You know what I mean? And she didn't do that to me. So there that is, bro. There that is. I hope it answers your question. You going to ask, okay, 1866, slavery ended just 1 year earlier. Yeah, 1865, Emancipation Proclamation. Yeah, which is some crap, which is just more crap, man. And then again, man, this is the thing most of us don't get about those who run this country or call themselves running the world, whatever. It's a lot of lies, man, and a lot of trickery, manipulation going on, man. A whole lot. More than we know. More than we know. And I just had a thought. I don't know why it popped up like that. I was just talking about Prospera Honduras, as well as the alleged selling of land in Benin for Prospera Benin. I think these are not just biotech type facilities. This is what I think the Epstein thing was. It's just on a higher level. You know what I mean? I just think it's just on a way higher level, man. It's more secure now. Epstein had that island, which was good, but I don't know if it was a sovereign place. If it could have been invaded or whatever. But if you think about how they're trying to set up shit now, set up shop, be a sovereign get out inside a sovereign get out, that's some shit on a whole nother level. You know what I mean? That's some shit the UN Charter probably ain't wrote no books on. Come to find out, the movies, man, trip off the movies, what they say about art imitating life, or conversely, life imitating art. There are movies that have been made about these islands where these people are getting down the way they're getting down, man, and then shit that's going on in them that the average individual wouldn't understand and be able to comprehend because they're not allowed there, For whatever reason, I just thought about Bruce Lee, Enter the Dragon, you know what I'm saying? He go on that island, people from all over the world go on that island, handpick people, and come, okay, you're going to work for, had the human sex trade thing jumping off in that bad boy. They had the production, producing drugs, you know what I mean? Come on, man, they super rich, so I don't know why the thought popped up like that, but it did, I think that these people, they really they're going to tighten their hand in terms of how they get down, but the experimentation of the human being is not new. It is not new, you know what I'm saying? I just think that because technology now, especially biotechnology, is starting to really come into itself, we're going to see different shit come as a result of it. And these people are working on trying to prolong their lives, to what extent then do they go? And in order, listen, man, to get to the point where they can learn shit about, they need live specimens. They can't learn nothing from a cadaver, just come on, man, so I don't know why that thought came up, but it came up, and I'm gonna really dig into this one. But there that is, man. James said, man, I would love a black woman to be president just as much as a black man righteously. Again, though, but see, I think I don't know, man. I'm just saying this, man, for the sake of black people. The best thing for us, man, is to separate ourselves, man. Then go create, man, or have or elect our own black man or woman, to be the head, of our political organization, our community, or whatever the case may be, man. But to want that especially under the system that we're in now, Republican, Democrat, Independent, Green Party, whatever, that black person won't ever be able to do anything for us. Just look the part. We just look the part. Barack Obama is a prime example. And I'm not going to mention Kamala Harris as vice president. I don't, she didn't want to claim being black. It only mattered, or she only tried to claim it when she needed to vote. So, but Barack Obama was president, and he done nothing for us. He couldn't even pass a crime bill pertaining, to anti-black crimes. He did one for Asians. He did one for blacks, man. So, just because you black, I don't think that would necessarily mean things would change, especially in this system or under this system, the way it's ran. We'd have to have our own shit, set our own rules and laws, do our own thing. I think that's when, and only when, we'll begin to really prosper, grow as a people, man. But to be here doing this, nah, man. Again, and the president, he's just a figurehead. He don't really run anything. Trump is a figurehead. Trust that. He don't really, these are not Trump's ideas. Fucking idiot, man. You know what I mean? But yeah, for real, But yeah, man, that would be nice though. But we would have to first succeed from this nation's hey man, this is what we want. Give us a state. You ain't gotta give us two. Give us two. You ain't gotta give us three, and watch what we do. Be totally autonomous from the U.S. government. This corporation, this business, and really run. Something that would benefit the people and not use the people as a commodity. You know what I mean? As a thing to make money. For a system that's been devised by the super rich. As long as that's in effect, man, the people will never benefit. I don't care who they put in office. Straight up, it's just me. But yeah, man, that is. James, you're going to say, I'm not a fan of church myself. I believe in a higher power. What that power is, I don't know. Yeah, and that's all I'm saying, man. I'm not denying or admitting that there is a higher power. And then one thing that gets me about religion, especially, is why is it always a guy? Why is it always a guy? I don't get that, man. I think that's BS. I just think that's BS, man. Anyway, I don't know how any of this came to be, but what I do know is that everything that we consist of, that comprise of us, down to the molecule, to the atom, it's everywhere around us. It's in space even. And I don't mean in just orbit, I mean in space, it's all there, so, I don't know. I don't know what it is or where we came from. I just know we're here. And as a result, I think that as a result of being here, we have a purpose. We have a purpose that we haven't been fulfilling. That's what I think. I've also said that I think that the melanated people, black people, for lack of a better term, well, I'll use melanated people, the darker or the darkest of melanated people, our purpose is, we are the saviors of the world, I think. And I don't mean saviors in the term that you use Christ as your savior. You know what I mean? But just, not to be worshiped savior, but we are those who, I think our purpose is to save the world and make it a better place, a more livable place, a more agreeable place, a place devoid of everything we see, especially everything that we know that ails us or, just keeps us down, it destroys the spirit of the soul. That's what I think. But anyway, move on before I start rambling. Yeah. James, you're going to say human beings have given everything, human beings have given everything, labels, and some labels I'm not comfortable with mimicking. Right. You say exactly, bub. Labels and idols, what I'm saying? All kind of symbols, all kind of shit, man. All kind of shit. Al Thomas said, today I witnessed a dialogue with a black engineering professor, Dr. Maat, all right, Maat, and one of her black engineering students, a young brother with a brilliant engineering mind concerning religion and Christianity. Anyway, but I hope there's more. You gonna give us some of that conversation? Okay, there you go. You say, to be exact, and his belief or / faith is flawed. He was thoroughly schooled on the subject, but refused to relinquish his position. And I made the statement that religion makes smart people dumb. Hey, man, kudos to you, Al. Kudos to you, bro. You go on to say, with education, one must come into it with your black mind and fight to maintain that mind. Seeking employment for the ultra educated tends to force them into letting go of their true heritage and here you go, man, Black mindset. But if they are looking to become business owners and leaders of our communities, then gaining that knowledge is paramount to Black success. I'm raising my young men to be business owners / entrepreneurs and leaders amongst our people. Black first. There you go. All right. All right. Now when Al speak, yeah, shit. Come on, man. He gonna drop some jewels. Jewels you can use for tools and them gems, y'all. Real spit though. I think, and yeah, it religion hinders the mind's ability to, I think, evolve, to be accountable for one's own actions and stuff. I think religion is that thing that's almost like a barrier to or towards growth, and growth in sense or in respect of man evolving. That's what I think. See, because if you have or you stuck on certain religious tenets or beliefs, and I use that for that reason only, then you're stuck, I think, in what the religion, and I think this is what I was saying, in what the religion allows the brain, only allows the brain to know or be. You know what I mean? You can't really evolve, because if you evolve, then you're gonna find flaws in religion. You're gonna start questioning shit. That's just where it is. You're gonna start asking questions. And one of the things also, man, and this for Travis Smith that made me think twice about religion was, I recall always being told you can't question God. And I'm like, why not? You know, because if I'm a living man and I have a brain, and this brain is this machine, this thing, this computer that will function on levels, man, that, you know, man, you know, on levels like Lucy, you know, the movie Lucy, right? Then God will cease to exist, you know? And that's a problem for those who control religion. Just my take on it, man. Just my take on it, man. All right. So there that go. Hey, Al, man, as always, bro. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Now, James, you said I'm gonna catch up with you right now, James. So I've been to church once in my life and I hated every second of it. I was pretty much forced to go and never again, ever. It was all artificial to me, you know. Poke says, man, religion is man-made. It is the reason I don't believe in the zodiac signs. Being spiritually aware is having your own relationship with God, which I hope eventually people would come to. Man, Al, that was deep. I want to read that again. As soon as I catch up with these guys, I'm going to go back and read that again. James going to say, I just don't get how I'm considered a sinner because I'm not Christian. But the whole oxymoron with Christianity is they're all born sinners themselves. Ain't that a witch? So I had a conversation with one of our guests on Under the Groove, and the sister said, you know, we're speaking about Christianity, to be exact. And I told her one of my issues is, not was, it still is, and it should be for anybody, you know, again, is how is it possible to label someone born in the sin, especially an infant? What do you really mean? This child is born into a world that is very sinful, or this child is born a sinner? I don't know. You know, in order to wash away the sins, you have to be baptized. So then, wait, you're saying that I'm born in sin. I'm born with sin, because the only way to rid myself of that is to claim that Jesus is my Lord and Savior and be baptized in the blood of Jesus cleansed of my sins. I just find this, I don't know, man, that just don't sound right to me. You know, I had that discussion and you know, hey, you know, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't agree. I just, you know, it's a whole lot that again, if we are willing, you know, to allow ourselves to think outside the box, we'll get to a lot of conclusions, man, that we, you know, that we are otherwise stumped at getting to, that we just for whatever reason can't reach, you know, these understandings and, you know, knowledge of things or growth, you know, because I think there's a lot hindering not just our mental growth, but our spiritual growth. You know, that's just my take on it. All right. And again, respectfully, you know, to anyone who is, you know, with the faith or of the faith of Christians or anybody else, it goes for all of them, you know. So that's just my take on that. I wanted to read that again though, Al. All right, here you go. Today, I witnessed a dialogue with a black engineering professor, Dr. Mott, and one of her black engineering students, a young brother with a brilliant engineering mind concerning religion, Christianity, to be exact, and his belief / faith is flawed. He was thoroughly schooled on the subject, but refused to relinquish his position. And I made the statement that religion makes smart people dumb. That would be our. You go on to say how with education, one must come into it with your black mind and fight to maintain that mind. Seeking employment for the ultra educated tends to force them into letting go of their true heritage and black mindset. But if they are looking to become business owners and leaders of our communities, then gaining that knowledge is paramount to black success. I'm raising my young men to be business owners / entrepreneurs and leaders amongst our people. Black first. There it is, man. I like it. Now, I imagine the more I read it, the more I'm gonna get from it. But I mean, I was playful. Okay, so yeah, man. James, you saying Bruce Lee is a specimen. Dude was kicking a 700-pound heavy bag and making it snap the ceiling with punches and kicks. Everybody else who tried broke their wrist or could barely even move it slightly. I think you're saying professional boxers use, I believe, an 80-pound heavy bag to give you comparison of how crazy strong that brother Bruce Lee was. Yeah, Bruce Lee was a phenomenon, man. He was a phenomenon. Devin Bunchy, excuse me, man. How you doing? Peace right back to you, bro. Good to see you here. You already know, man. Y'all know. Good to see you here amongst the brothers and sisters in the Rural Group congregation. Hey, y'all, this is where it is. All right, this is Under the Groove Podcast. Y'all know, man, I'm going to ask this, man, because I think it's necessary. Sometimes we forget. Like, share, and comment, all right? If you see fit, subscribe. You know, if not, man, hey, that's your call, you know? But by all means, like, share, and comment to this Get Out, man. It would be appreciated. This thing, man, is in effect because, like I say, man, the people has made it so. You know, this is nothing I've done by myself. You know, and there's no way in the world. Again, a lot of us like to tend to think that we get shit done by ourselves. That's how bad we are. Ain't nothing further from the truth, man. That is not the truth. That is not the truth. You know, a lot of us, especially those who recognize how far we've gotten, man, realize, man, that we didn't do it by ourselves, that, you know, there was some type of support, love, consideration, man, just something that helped us along. We do nothing by ourselves, man. That's the problem with a lot of us. We tend to want to think that we can do this shit by ourselves. That's why we're in the position we are in. because a lot of us don't want to work together, don't see the benefit in working together. That's why we messed up, man. But just know, trust and know that we're better, we're stronger, we're greater together than we are apart. You know those saying, two heads are better than one. Imagine a race of people as one. Nothing we can't do. And if there's any of us, we get together in that respect, if anyone would think that we couldn't go stop the people from tearing up this world because we ain't got a hold of it, you'd be wrong about that too. Black power, man. Ain't nothing like it. Ain't nothing like it. Poke Mitchell podcast says, man, one thing about black people that I know is that we judge each other harder than any other race of people. I try to let God do that because you never know what works for each of us for the better. You know, Pope, man. I'm not saying this is the only place or this take place or we have this mindset, but steel sharpens steel, bro. That's what it's supposed to do. That's what we should allow it to do. Steel sharpens steel. We should sharpen our people. I think that's I think that should be an obligation, man. That's what I think. Yeah. We should make each other better. We should be hard on one another, especially when we see that we're lacking. Especially when we see that one of us, man or woman or child, is lacking. We're supposed to be on them about that. Go hard on them. They won't forget that shit. I remember growing up, man, neighbors didn't play that shit, Poke. You know what I'm talking about. Go hard on you. You might walk away mumbling under your breath, stinging from that slap in the back of your head. You know what I'm saying? Or that belt that went to you, caught your ass for you to move. But you didn't forget it. Steel sharpens steel, homie. And we're living. We're here. We in this shit. We got to be on point with one another, man. And then allow whatever God we choose to be a part of our lives, man, amplify whatever the lessons we give to each other. Because we're living beings, man. We are right here in this shit. We in this shit. You can let God put the finishing touches on it if you see fit. By all means. But we're here. We're in the now. If you see something and I need to be corrected and checked so that I don't ever forget that shit again, you're going to sharpen me up, bro. It's just what it is. And it don't just stop there. It's about educating each other, man, uplifting one or another, wanting to see empowerment in each other. Brothers attaining excellence, sisters attaining excellence, brothers and sisters being true leaders. You dig? So, hey, man, yeah, we supposed to judge each other hard. We supposed to be on each other, man. And I don't mean judge and like, oh, you just didn't know, man, because I think there's a difference. Some people do it because they don't really know how to lace or how to help, instruct, advise, one another, man. So, yeah, we get what we get sometimes, people. But, man, in reality, we're supposed to do that. We're supposed to not just judge the actions of our brothers and sisters, especially when they're not on par. We're supposed to do that, but not just judge them, but go direct them, give them some understanding as to why, okay, this is why we're having this discussion. I'm talking to you like this, maybe because I think that's just necessary. That's necessary. You know, appreciate you, man, always. James said, nature is a woman. Mother Nature seems fitting because nature gives life as our beautiful queens do. And that's real. You're going to say, James, it's like Scarface said, don't follow man because man be phony. And I'm talking about puppets and poster boys, a society that have ruled this world for centuries and centuries. All right, Al. Al says, religious is completely unnecessary for humankind. While we can while we can survive without religion, without science, humankind would have perished centuries ago. We are star people. Every molecule in our bodies is found in the cosmos. Appreciate that. Yeah. Everything. I used to I don't tell a lot of prison stories, you know what I mean, because I don't think a lot are worthy of being told. But in this respect, I think it needs to be said. So I used to have this thing on my wall where I drew, like, I actually caught myself drawing a couple of constellations, the Milky Way and the Sombrero constellation. Anyway, beneath that, I had the periodic table. And that was one of the things that I would try to, impart to the homies that came in the cell, is to understand really what you consist of and where you come from. A lot of brothers don't know that a lot of these minerals and the things in the periodic table you have in you. Trust and know this, people. Not a whole lot of it, but we are comprised of all of it. You know what I mean? The galaxy, the universe, that's us. That's where we come from. That's not a lie. We are part of the cosmos. That's just facts. We have, man. Anyway, that was something I did. I always wanted brothers to know, all right, man, listen, man, this is really, what we come from. And in a way, it's kind of crazy when the scripture says something about God made Adam from the dirt, because in some respects, the dirt consists of some of everything we are, or we are also consist of. Some elements are still up to, but that's what it is, so it's no surprise that was in there, but appreciate that, Al. Yep. Every molecule in our bodies is found in the cosmos, y'all. That's deep, man. James said, man, men need only 9 seconds to bust a nut. Women do the real work 9 months. Let's never forget that. Love, respect to all of the queens and queen mothers out there. All right. Appreciate you saying that. Yep. 9 months, man. And I've said this, man. We had a segment and we were just, in matter of fact, Bonnie Williams was there. Cinda, Soldier Denise, we were all having this conversation about what a woman goes through. And the fact that, excuse me, a lot of men do not appreciate what women go through. We got it good compared to them. And I don't mean just in terms of them having to carry a baby for 10 months, 9-10 months, whatever the case may be, but also to birth it, to have to, nurture it, raise it, and in some cases, watch it die, watch it leave before them, or to grow to be everything but what the mother desired for it to be, you know what I'm saying? Just all kind of shit, man. So, yeah, we don't give them enough credit. Not even close. Not even close, man. And a lot of us want to wonder why sisters act that the way they act. Kings have failed them, as we failed ourselves. We failing everybody. Everybody, we all failing, each other, you know what I mean? But yeah. Wait a minute. Al says, let's start with this. Al says there are over 4,500 gods being worshipped on this planet. Some of us believe that only one of them is the one true God worthy of worship. Completely disregarding others' belief systems. That in itself is flawed thinking. There you go. That's all I'm saying. And that's what all of the religions do. They discredit the other one, you know, and they teach, I think, closed-mindedness. You know, minds aren't able to evolve. Again, because if the mind, if religions were here for the mind to evolve, and I mean evolve without restraint, the mind would outthink of God. I'm just saying. It would think beyond a God. Just what I think, you know. So again, respectfully, y'all. James say, in my honest opinion, religion creates division, stereotypes, and even competition. You know, like life is competition too, though. Yeah, but that's not no, you know, not wrong at all. You say, in my honest opinion, religion creates division, stereotypes, and even competition, which all leads to we know what. Al goes on to say, as well as war, James. All religions were spread by the sword, not the word. All right? All religions were spread by bloodshed and murder. Force. By force. And James say, absolutely, Al. That's where it inevitably always ends. Again, James, you say nature is the ruler of all, and beyond that is up to imagination. All right, Poke, what you got to say, my brother? He said, Bub, you know you understand this, my following days. Excuse me, Bub, you understand this, my following days are over because we all live separate lives, but I would never give up on real leadership, and it's a way to talk and deal with your brothers and sisters. Continue. And trying to determine someone's faith based on where you at in life can be misleading for some of us. You're going to say, and I'm talking about in general, Bub, what I want for Black people is what I want for myself. Peace, love, and happiness. And that's a boat I love to be in with you, because that is also not just my desire, but that's how I see, you know, our lives, man, in terms of where they supposed to be, where they need to be, you know, where they should be, in peace, living in love, and being happy about the lives we're living because of the peace we have as a part of, you know, our existence, man. I'm with that, you know, I'm with that. And by me saying that, I say then that man is accountable for those things. Man is accountable for those things. It's man's responsibility to make sure that those are the things we can live, you know, to enjoy, you know, peace, you know, living in peace, man, and in love, man, in unity with our people, being happy about the fact that we have that, you know. So I agree. I agree. Yeah, man, that's what it is. We, James said, that's deep. We are the universe and the stars. Yeah, man, this is, you know, this is life, man. You know, this is life, man. Yeah, I think that is part of what life should represent, man. You know, not just the ability to be able to think and think out loud or to discuss the thoughts we have, but to appreciate it, to utilize it. You know what I mean? They go for any of us, man. I don't, irrespective of what your religion is, who your God is, or any of that, man. Being able to communicate, I think, just offers the human being, that person who may be religious, man, is all get out. But it offers that individual, man, an opportunity, or it puts that individual in a place where they can talk with other people, and not to be converted or to convert, but just to learn about other things. This is what makes us better as a Christian, if that's what you choose to be, as a Muslim, as a Hindu, a Buddhist, or whatever. Communication, man. Communication is the key. And I think without it, man, then none of us are capable then of evolving. We're not going to be able to evolve. Again, Poke, like you said, man, like we still sharpen steel. And that just means we communicate with each other. Don't necessarily judge, but we communicate. So understanding is passed along to brothers and sisters to where they get something different. Come on. So it's a beautiful thing in my mind that I have a mind that I envision, man, just expanding, just opening up, picking up shit, becoming a better human being, and then being in the position to help others to become better human beings. We're allowed to live in a life that represents peace, man, that has love in it, or where we see people are happy. I mean, a whole lot to this shit, man. A whole lot to this shit. A whole lot, man. Again, man, we come from something, man, that a lot of us can't even really comprehend. And that's on purpose. That we are stuck thinking the way we think about a lot of shit. That's on purpose, man. That's what's messed up, man. Shut up, man. C1, I was looking for you tonight. You weren't able to show up. I hope that you are well, sister. All right, we love you. All right, keep doing your thing. Keep your head in the game. Focus on the focus, all right? Focus on the focus.
I'm doing great. Thank you.
What the fuck? Yeah, these phones, the technology is cold, y'all. We better get ready. But that being said, I just want to send a shout out, to everybody, man. And hey, listen, I think even when we tend to think differently, or we tend to have different beliefs, faiths, or even goals in mind, that makes us better, man. That shouldn't ruin us, or shouldn't make us inferior or anything like that, man. It should make us understand that then we can become better people. We're trying to elevate, evolve, man. There's nothing wrong with that, man. There's nothing wrong with that. What the problem is, what's wrong, especially with us in society today, we won't allow ourselves to evolve. Our development, our evolution has been arrested, man. And this is the problem. Everybody, just don't want to get along. Not that we can't, and we see it a lot here, man. We can agree to disagree, and still, man, there's love, there's respect. There's a commonality that still exists amongst us, man. And that is our ascension upward, our growth, you know, our development, man, ballooning out, man, bursting with potential, man. That's the get down. That's the get down, man. Everything, anything other than our growth as human beings, especially as a unit, man. Anything that's not in favor of that, not for that, not with that, don't support that. It's there for a reason. It's there for a reason. It is it has been intentionally set there. And the only reason why it's succeeding, man, is because we won't allow ourselves to think differently. We won't allow ourselves to think beyond this BS we see, man. That's it. That's why I think it's here, man. It could be anything we want to be, man. That ain't no cap. Provided that we know what it is that we have to put forth in order to get to where we need to be. Provided that we know we got to let go a whole lot of shit, man. Just to get started, man, correctly, to get on that road to attaining whatever our goals, our desires, reaching those potentials, exercising those gifts that we have. Until then, man, yeah, we're gonna continue to see this shit, man. And it's gonna get worse before it get better. Facts. Facts. That said, man, it's all love, man. B1 equals black first. I stand on that. Appreciate Al for dropping that, you know. B1 equals black first. So as a black man and woman, man, take care of yourself and each other, man. Look out for you in the right way and do it right. Do it with love. You'll be able to look out for that brother or sister. Hey, man, very well may need that same love, man, and support. You know, that understanding about what blackness is and what black love is all about, man. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. You are, you have been, and you will be under the groove. Power is in the people, y'all.
Count the names, count the bodies, count the victory. Cullen Hughes, Hurst, and writing future history. From the Apollo to the borough to the sphere. Where the echo of those Harlem nights still ringing clear. So when they ask what happened in those tenement flats, between the spirituals and where consciousness is at, tell them we transform suffering to scholarship and song. Tell them we've been telling you we're brilliant all along. The Renaissance will prologue every decade since the sequel. Every black child born's continuation of the people who survived the Middle Passage, survived the Jim Crow laws, and built magnificence from nothing but their vision and their flaws. That's in the sergeant. This is once a less than Hatters, hats, and recitations. Please don't you, I can't stop us. Power sensitive, watch the applause for polls. Agitated talks and counseling, they problem when the wet just wanna build the seats and bait. Now don't get the pause. It's just erasing up the cons, plead them up and soft the main. Make it on the fans, turn and neck and love the durn. Suffers like a kesha. You been grown to preaching up on side and see chillun, bitch on the shit and untrue seeing vets and wonder very it's on Gary Land. Be hell in heaven, you see what the bonafide. You wait talking for the Margaret to keep him from the club and saw the bloods to the Sangaland is carried open stone and keep us looking on my mother record generous more than he and let the peasant be and every time we keep a spawn.